Hey everyone, Nick here again, back to talk about Fear the Walking Dead. Well, that was unexpected. I'm still in shock. That was easily the most shocking episode of this show since episode 302, which is where Travis died in the first 5 minutes. But, this episode was a lot better. But before I get to the obvious thing that everyone's talking about with this episode, there are some other things that went down in this episode that I'm going to talk about first. The action scenes in this episode were really exciting. I mean, in particular, the part where Alicia is trying to hook up Althea's SWAT van to the tow truck. That part was really intense. Like, there was a moment I'm like, is Alicia dead? I'm like, they wouldn't kill off an OG character like that, would they? But yeah, that part was really well done. It was really exciting. It was suspenseful. And it's just further keeping the season's momentum going of actually being exciting and interesting, actually getting you fired up for what's going to happen next. Nick got character development in this episode before that thing. In particular, the part where he killed that vulture by accidentally impaling him on the antlers of a mounted deer, although it was no longer mounted, but you know what I mean. And then he just further presses down on him. That was awesome because that showed just how much he's changed. I mean, he's killed people before. He killed Jeremiah in the mid-season finale of Season 3. But he's never killed someone quite like this. Like, he looked like he was almost relishing in it. And, that was interesting, for sure. And I really thought that was a fantastic moment. Morgan also got a lot of really good development in this episode. You know, further getting to see just how he got to come back from the very dark place he was in Season 8 and, like, the very end of Season 7. Like, we got a little more detail as to how he was able to come back. And yes, it was Aikido again, but, you know, it seemed like all that was gone, but Morgan showed that it's never gone. It's never too late to redeem yourself. Luciana also got a lot of development, which I have been waiting so long for. Like, since Season 2, really. I mean, we got some with her back then. Season 3, she disappeared. And she's been here in Season 4 so far. But this was the first time she really felt like she was important to the story and what was going on. So, yeah, I was very happy to see that. And also, I was really happy to see her paired up with John Dorie. That was a really interesting one for me. And, like, they played off each other really well, and I thought that was interesting, and it was certainly an unexpected pairing. And also, Morgan and Nick was rather surprising, and I was thinking, like, maybe Morgan will take Nick on, and Nick would become, like, his apprentice. He'd teach him Aikido, and all life is precious. But, no, that's not what happened now, is it? Nick's death. Honestly, I'm mostly impressed by it. I thought it was well done, but it's still kind of a mixed bag for me. Here are the pros of it. It was very unexpected. I mean, it could not have come from more out of nowhere. Like, it was just insane. And, like, the arc that he'd had in the episode, and, like, with Morgan telling him, it's not going to work out how you think. Well, that did actually turn out to be true, so in that way, yeah, there was some, like, story payoff, at least for what was going on in this episode. And the fact that it was the little girl who killed him, like the one that vulture had been raising, and that he had kind of formed a mini friendship with at the baseball stadium. So, like, yeah, that made it a lot more, like, loaded. Like, that gave it some emotional weight, as opposed to Travis, who was literally killed by accident. And I am seeing a lot of people that are angry at the show for doing this, but y'all gotta understand, Frank Delane asked to leave the show. Okay? Like, this isn't like what happened with Travis last season, where they just build him up and then they just kill him off with no sort of emotional story payoff. And it's not like what they did with Chandler Riggs on the main show, when they were just like, hey, watch what I can do. I can kill off this super important character. So what? What are you going to do about it? Like, this isn't like that at all, because honestly, Travis's death was very badly done. Carl's death, I thought the death itself was well done, but the aftermath was severely lacking. But with Nick, there was some payoff. Maybe not entirely, but maybe not 100% of everything that he'd been building up to over the first 3 seasons, but with what we've been seeing in this season, there was a little bit of payoff. And I think there's still time. They might still have him in the flashbacks because they're showing this whole thing out of order. There's still stuff going on at the baseball stadium, so I'm thinking we might see him, and maybe some of the scenes with him there will actually carry more weight now that he's dead. But yeah, I mean, you can't get mad at the show for this one. This one is... It was Frank Delane's decision to leave, and he's not a slave. He can ask to leave. The way that it was done, and knowing that he asked to leave, I think it was well done. But there are some cons about it as well. It felt like they were developing him way too much. Like, there was a lot of stuff that could have been meaningful later on. Like, it could have grown into something. And that's not going to happen now. Like, what they were building up with him and Morgan, I was really looking forward to seeing, you know, where that would go. But it's going to go nowhere now. And I feel like maybe they shouldn't have teased it quite the way they did, because it's just kind of a cruel red herring, in my opinion. And as well done as it was when he died, I feel like it would have been more impactful if he had just died in the dam explosion at the end of last season. He was standing on the dam when he hit the detonator. And, you know, if he just didn't show up this season, and then it turned out afterwards, like, he asked to leave, you know, people would be like, well, he was on a dam when he blew it up, so I guess it makes sense that he's not alive. So, yeah, I think they should have just done that instead. I think that might have been better. Because if he had died there, then it still would have been some closure for the storyline that he had in Season 3, at the very least. It's just kind of like, why did you even bother bringing him back if you're just going to kill him like this when he asked to leave? Apparently he asked to leave in Season 3. So yeah, I really don't get why they didn't just let him die in the dam explosion. The best performance in this episode for me, without any question, Alicia Dednam Carey. Alicia's reaction to seeing her brother die was heartbreaking. I mean, honestly, it was on the level of in the mid-season 5 finale of the main show when Beth died and Maggie had just been told that she was alive, and then she gets there and she's dead. Like, that was one of the best acting moments in the history of The Walking Dead, I think. And yeah, Alicia Dednam Carey's performance in this scene, it was like on the same level, and it was just so well done, and I really applaud her for that. Overall, I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. It was very well made. The momentum of the first 2 episodes of this season is still going. Like, it's been maintained. Nick's death was well done. but I just feel like there were too many missed opportunities that they didn't really need to set up. And I feel like maybe if they had just let him die in the dam explosion at the end of Season 3, that might have been the better route to go. That'll do it for this video. See you next time.